Hi, how are you? I'm here with Mr. Gayo Gara. He's the founder and CEO AMS Systems, a manufacturing company in Ohio. Thank you, Mr. Gara, to be here with me today. Appreciate
Thank you
it.
for having me, Enrique.
Pleasure. So, as I mentioned before, I'm going to start with some questions. I appreciate that you answer them as precise and as comfortable as you can. So, the first question is regarding problem resolution. Have you ever had a major failure in your company? And if you did, how did you manage to overcome it?
Hmm. So, a major failure. I don't know if I can think of a major failure that we've had, in 20 years of building automation equipment. I'm going to knock on wood with that one, Enrique, that we don't have a major failure. We've had plenty of successes and plenty of setbacks. I would say the biggest setbacks in my 20 years is losing key employees that we've invested a lot of time and effort and money and personal relationships in. What we've learned to do is create an environment where people can grow. And I think one of the things that I've learned as a leader is it's okay for people to leave the organization, but you have to be prepared and you have to backfill for the next person, to be ready to take that key person. So I'd say the biggest setback that I can think of is losing key people that have been in the organization for a long time. It's very tough.
Okay. The next question is, what is something you wish you had learned early in your career, in your as a leader?
Oh, I think the biggest thing is continuous improvement and applying knowledge and giving people in the organization a systematic a way to grow, and not looking just at the person's job title and their requirements, what they're doing now, but what we can do to make them a better contributor to the organization and to themselves. So if I would have learned that earlier, I think I could have done better by some of the folks. So I would say for sure, making sure that you're exposing people to learning opportunities proactively.
Okay. Um, what is one good habit that helped you over the years to become a better manager?
Mm. Um, I think one of the best habits I've got into was quarterly conversations, and putting it on the calendar with everybody that reports to me, in a friendly environment. We go off site and we usually go to lunch, and we kind of go through a process of checking in with each other every 90 days. How is your family? How's your spouse? What aspirationally what are your goals? Not just work goals, but personal goals, and that has been something that's been very worthwhile and very rewarding.
Okay. Uh, how would you describe your management style?
My style has been very laissez-faire, very much uh, open and willing to fail type of a style, and um, um, I would say that that's probably the biggest element is not overly looking at the dotting the I's and crossing the T's, but giving general direction and letting people make failures, and then trying to teach and learn from those failures, but not being upset, and saying that, hey, that's part of the process. We're in a business that that is kind of a R&D project every time we do something. So there's a lot of opportunity for errors, but you have to allow, especially new people and young people, to make some mistakes so they can learn for themselves. So I think that's the answer to that question.
Okay. What do you think is the most important contribution a manager can make in the workplace?
The most important contribution, they have to be willing to let people win and lose. And one of the things that I see that some great performers are not good managers is they don't allow people underneath them to get the recognition. They're still trying to be the performer and the star instead of celebrating other people's wins and encouraging them. So that's I think the question was, restate the question for me so I make sure I'm answering it right, Enrique.
What do you think is the most important contribution a manager can make in the workplace?
Yeah, so not to be negative, but to be positive is setting that example and then praising when they see the results they're looking for, and giving and making it about the person that they're managing and not about them.
Okay. See it there. How do you measure success in your company?
Oh, we slice and dice it a lot of ways, but we run our business on Gino Wickman's traction book. That's our playbook, if you will, and it's the EOS. It's the entrepreneurial operating system. It's a very simplistic system, but it's a guided path that starts off with a year and a 3-year picture, which is called your vision, or your VTO, your vision traction organizer. And then we have a 1-year vision and a 3-year and a 5-year vision. And then every 90 days, we reset the clock and we create a set of rocks that are basically our goals. And our leadership team goes off site for a full day every 90 days. And we reestablish new set of rocks. We connect with each other. We go through a clearing exercise. Then every Monday morning at 9 o'clock, we have a traction meeting with the leadership team. And we review the previous week. We identify, discuss, and solve problems that came up in the week before. So we're very, very religious about the traction process on a weekly basis, a quarterly basis, and a yearly basis. So yeah, I have to give credit to Mr. Wickman and the traction process. That's how we run the business.
Okay. What is your advice on running effective meetings?
Boy, I've read and studied a lot about effective meetings. I think you have to. I think they have to be planned meetings, and there has to be a full agenda, and there has to be a time limit. So you have to stay with that time limit. Cameron Harold wrote a nice book about meetings. I think those are the basic things: is make sure they're planned, not too many, not the impromptu ones, on an agenda, and then be careful about a few people that like to speak and letting them overrun the meetings. Make sure you try to get a voice in from everybody that's in the meeting, so that you get a true understanding of everybody that's involved in the meeting. Those would be my highlights to running a good meeting.
Okay. How do you balance your work and life responsibilities?
That's a great one. Something I've worked on since being very young, and I think that it's important for any leader or anyone in business to set a personal mission statement and then to write goals. And I have always yearly put together a set of business goals, a set of financial goals, and a set of personal goals, and then health and fitness goals. So if all your goals are just in that business and earning money box, you're going to be out of whack, right? So I think if you put some business goals, some family and personal goals, and some fitness goals, exercise goals, you'll stay balanced, right? The important thing, like in this pandemic, is I talk every morning at 9 o'clock for a 10-minute call. Let's make sure that we're getting to sleep on time. Let's make sure we're getting some physical exercise in, because it's when you're stuck inside and you're not exercising, then that just sucks down your mental drain. So there's a lot of people right now that are mentally depressed, and you got to get the sleep, you got to get some exercise, and then you can have a strong mental outlook. But so I could go on with that forever, but those are my highlights to that question, Enrique.
Yeah. Another question that came out to me right now. How do you motivate your employees?
I try to set the tone. When we do get together at our 9 o'clock morning meetings, I search the news hard for positive news. So I try to find, it's a very negative environment if you look at mainstream media. So I look for, always try to see where, something positive to set the tone. Business is tough, and forecasting is tough, and meeting numbers is tough. So you got two choices. You have your attitude. You can either focus on what's not working, or we focus on what's good. So to me, it's attitude and being positive.
Okay. One last question before we finish. Right now with the pandemic, how did you manage to overcome the obstacles or the setbacks your company had, and how are you planning to? What are the opportunities that you see with the pandemic to actually grow rather than go down?
So yeah, it takes some intestinal fortitude, to hang in there, right? And I think our government has done a nice job with the payroll protection program, and we haven't laid off anyone, we haven't furloughed anyone, and I think this is an opportunity to set the stage for growth and opportunities, and say, hey, let's the good times are coming. Let's make sure we're ready for when they turn back around. But it's not easy. Anyone that tells you it is easy and unprecedented. At 55 in my life, I've never thought I'd see a pandemic, and seeing the reduction in business is really hard. But I believe and I know that it's temporary. I thought it would be less than a year, and we're going past that. So yeah, it's just hanging in there and looking forward. And I think people that furloughed people and laid off people will be remorseful and not be better off for those activities.
Okay. Well, I think we're good on time. I appreciate your time. Appreciate your answers. I think they were wonderful, and I really appreciate your time, Mr. O'Gara.
Yeah, terrific, Enrique. Anything I can do to help you? Good luck in your studies at Oklahoma State, and let's stay in touch.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay.